Hey, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
We are Working Class Nerds.
Cue the intro. That's right, we are Working Class Nerds, the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information.
Today is February 11th, 2021, and you can find this wonderful, tastefully delicious energy drink podcast on all of the podcast forums. Sites, forums, sites, I don't know. If you listen to podcasts, you can find us. Or just go to the Google, you can find it. You can also watch me play games at twitch.tv/MarcusB814. And you can find the both of us on Twitter. I am at MarcusB814.
And I'm at Nick Vern, that's NickVern. And this week's episode, we're talking about energy drinks with Kogass, friend of the pod Kogass, and super famous mega Twitch star.
Yeah, superstar. He's no longer just a star. He's a superstar.
You guys are flattering. That is far overstating it. Thank you so much.
So first things first, we got to ask, how was the 24-hour stream? Give us all the nitty-gritty details. And how gross was that raid bucket?
Oh my gosh, it was an amazing stream. It was a lot of fun. I can't believe I actually made it to the 24 hours. I was talking to Marcus the day before, and I was just like, we'll see how far we get. And Marcus was like, no, wrong attitude. I don't want to hear that shenanigans. You are doing a 24-hour stream, because I've seen other streamers attempt at 24 hours. They've gotten to like the 18, 19-hour mark, and they were just like, all right, guys, I'm tired. It's gonna end here. I know we tried for it. And I've heard other streamers being like, all right, we're going to do a 24-hour stream, and then they don't make it, so they cut it up into two halves. So I was like, no, we'll see how I go, because who knows whether you can make it or not. It all depends on the mentality that you had. And Marcus did not allow me to be at all like, this is not going to happen. He was just like, you are doing a 24-hour stream.
Okay. So what I've thought about and I've seen, so since that you and Chimeri have done your 24-hour streams.
Oh, don't forget about Sass. She did one too.
Yeah, Sass too. But I'm just going to be completely honest. I don't really know Sass, like where I know you and Chimeri. So you guys have done it, and I've actually been looking at like who else is doing 24-hour streams, and I've been watching random people for 24-hour streams. And here's something that I noticed. The streamers who don't make it don't have a good viewer count. So I feel like in order to pull off a 24-hour stream, you have to be a good, I don't want to say a good streamer. That's not what I'm trying to say. I feel like you have to have some kind of following in like committed people to do it. Because I mean, Kogass, yours was full all like for 24 hours. There was a ton of people watching your stream, and you had 3 people. I think it was Melody is a house cat, Trickle Train, and there was one more.
Neo Plushcat and Power were both. All 4 of them actually.
All 4 of them were with you for 24 hours. Like, so not only were you doing it, you also had like, it was like the 4 horsemen hanging out with you the entire time and having your back. That helps you push as well. And when you have people that are constantly chatting, it's actually like, Nick, what am I trying to say? It like releases that something in your head.
Yeah.
Where it like gives you energy.
It's engaging. It's a little bit of like dopamine, because it's that social interaction, and it keeps you going a little bit. It's like, oh, and it keeps you awake. Honestly, it engages your brain more. You got to think about what they're saying. You're not just like playing the game and that you've played a whole bunch, and that can end up being really taxing for, obviously, Kogass knows, for 24 hours.
Right. And I will say the Star Wars The Old Republic community is amazing.
Absolutely.
Like we may not be the top of the charts for viewers on Twitch. We may not be even like in the middle, but the community is so tight. I mean, when you watch somebody's doing a 24-hour stream, people are watching because they love the game and they want to support you. Mm-hmm. Where if I did a 24-hour Call of Duty stream,
it would be
like one viewer.
Yeah, you don't get the Call of Duty community is not that close, you know.
Right.
You're not getting anybody clicking on your stream just because it's Star Wars: The Old Republic, whereas people are going to see someone streaming SWTOR and go, "Ooh, who's this person?" Like, "Oh my god, they're doing a 24-hour stream. This is awesome. Who is this?" And they look into your community. Who else is in the chat? What's happening? It's easier to like get involved because you have the community.
Well, it also helps that every hour I was doing a giveaway. Every hour I had a code from Daniel Steed over at BioWare. So BioWare, hooked me up, and the devs over at SWTOR, got to give them a big shout out, did hook me up with codes to give away for every hour of the stream.
That's awesome. That's so huge for your engagement too, because it rewards the people for staying with you, of course.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's cool to just to have that development studio backing you. Hey, that's what I'm saying. Just it's all about that community. It's just feeding that cycle of positivity in the community,
Hashtag Reapers. Anyway, no, but what I mean, and I agree with you, Nick, but that's for me, if you're going to do it, you got to be ready. I personally, now that it's over, I was being a Debbie Downer for Kogass. I was like, how is he going to play games from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m? That to me is like the dog days of summer, right?
Yeah.
You're just grinding to get through those 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I went to bed at, I don't know, I fell asleep at the keyboard essentially at 1:30 in the morning.
Yep.
And I was I woke up at 3 and signed in, and he had 70 people watching his stream, and I'm like, it's 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking about, okay, where?
Yeah, on the West Coast, it's only midnight.
Well, yeah, but also too in Australia, that's 9 a.m.
Right.
Or no, I'm sorry, that's 5 p.m. So that's their prime time. Right. That's what's cool about Twitch streaming in the SWTOR community. Everybody, it doesn't matter what server you play on, even though we both know that Starforge is the best server.
Correct.
Somebody must be bribing you for that one.
But what I'm saying is there's people all over the world playing this game. So there's they see at 7 a.m. or 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern that somebody's playing PvP with 70 people watching. They're going to be and it's a 24-hour birthday stream. They're going to be holy shit, let's get in there and check this out.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing in Chimera's stream. For 24 hours, you guys were packed with people. And it's such a, I don't know, it's such a feat. But my question, Kogass, is during the stream, at what point, and I don't want to say about forget about hour 20 to 24, because clearly, and maybe I'm speaking for you, that's where you were the most tired. But was there any point during the stream prior to the 20-hour mark that you were holy shit, I don't know if I can do this?
Oh my god. Yeah, there was I was yawning at the 10-hour mark. Most of my streams are 6 hours. I normally try to start my stream at 6 p.m. Central Time, and I go until midnight. Purely Satil Shan solo ranked. If anybody watches this stream, that's usually what I go for lately these days. It's been consistent like that for months now. Mm-hmm. And so a 6-hour stream is usually normal. I hit the 8-hour mark and I'm like, okay, here we go. We're at the 8-hour mark. And then I hit the 10 and 11-hour mark and I'm like, I'm yawning a little bit. But I think the best thing that helped me to keep my head up was making sure I took a break every 2 hours is what I shot for. Mm-hmm. Didn't make it every time, but making sure I took those breaks for the first 12 hours at least definitely helped me out. I shot for a 20-minute break. I actually took 10 to 15. Yeah, I think 20 was my longest one, and I only took one of those. But taking those breaks to just kind of get up, stretch, refocus, grab something to eat real quick, getting a banana, refilling on water, and then going and then being like, all right, cool, time to refocus. That break definitely helped because then you're like chunks and chunks and chunks. You know, the beginning of the stream was me leveling an operative that I haven't played since 3.0.
Wow.
And that was the first 8 hours. That was just like, because it's what time is it in the morning? It's like 7 in the morning. So there's not a lot of PvP going on. You know, it's just a little, you know, you can't play the same class for the whole 24 hours as much as I love Juggernauts.
Right.
So it's just like, let's do something I'm not used to. Let's be as engaged as I can be with the stream. And there are so many people who came in, other streamers who supported. Marcus came in super early as soon as it started. So Teresa was there early. And I mean, the first 8 hours were kind of strange because those were, you know, me playing an operative, me leveling, doing a lot of PvE. On top of that, there's a clip of me salsa dancing. Apparently, I felt the need to do some salsa dancing and give lessons in the middle of a 24-hour Twitch stream in some sweatpants. You know what?
Okay, but just to say, but that's what makes it genuine. And that's what breaks it up for me. I was laughing hysterically, and that's, you know, and it got you out of your seat. It got you a little bit out of your comfort zone. Everybody that was watching enjoyed it because it was out of your comfort zone, and it broke up your stream. So it got you out of the chair. Believe it or not, it gave you a break before you actually took an official break. So you were stretching your legs, you were getting your blood flowing, and it kind of gave you some energy. And when you came back, the chat was engaged in it for 20 minutes talking about the salsa Kogass. You know what I mean? So it's it was a good thing for your stream.
Even the content that I was playing, even the playing the operative was already a break because the first 8 hours is a complete and total blur to me because I'm trying to level a class I hardly ever play. Right. So it's just like, oh, I'm playing a class that I don't normally play, and I've been doing this for 6 hours already. How did that happen? All right, well, I guess it's time to take a break, and then I'll hop into PvP. And then that's when, you know, I actually start. And then that's when my body's like, all right, I guess we're going to start. And that's when I was all going.
Yeah, that first operative chunk was basically like teleporting through time. Because then, like, mentally, you know what I mean? Because it's like doing something entirely different because you had to, like, think so much about the different class. At least I'd imagine, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, what am I supposed to do? How am I dying to trash at level 55 when this stuff's level 50 and I'm playing a stealthing class? My gosh, how embarrassing am I? You know, I'm not liking this idea of dying in the black hole and CZ198. And I'm just kind of, you know, other streamers are coming in and telling me how to play the operative. And I'm like, thank you for telling me what I need to do to get better.
That's cool.
Well, and again, I'm looking at it strictly from a analytical stream. Like the side of that is like, that's engagement. They're teaching you how to play this class that you have no idea how to play. Like if you were just playing a jug, you would have probably been falling asleep sooner because you know everything. So you chose something that you didn't know. People were helping you, engaging with you. And then by the end, you actually knew how to play that class.
In theory, I would know.
Well, I mean, unofficially,
it was fun. Yeah, it was fun for the better half. It was, and that's exactly what Nick was saying. Is that the first 8 hours are a little bit of a blur, and that's okay because that means I was able to sit down, refocus, and then all right, let's play some jug gameplay.
Right, that's awesome.
So, yeah. Now the $1 million question is, what's next for the Kogass stream?
Dun, dun, dun.
What's next? Oh my gosh, we have the past couple of months, and if you haven't been watching the stream, or if you do, my computer is in dire need of just being rebuilt. I'm using an old Intel 4790K processor. It just cannot handle the things I want to do with it. If you saw, whenever I would do a intro with I have a small 20-second clip for my intro. And if I've been streaming for about an hour, the computer lags out on just the intro. And so my computer's using up almost all of its resources to stream a game and to play a game. So the next thing is coming up for the Kogass stream. We're doing a complete total upgrade of the computer. Upgrading the CPU means I have to upgrade the motherboard. Upgrading the motherboard means I have to go up from DDR3 to DDR4. And so that's pretty much almost an entire build. The only thing I'm not changing out are the power supply and the case. So it's gonna happen about next week. All the parts have been ordered ahead of time because everything has been so scarce to try to find. So if I was able to find it, I went ahead and picked it up ahead of time. So now we're looking at production upgrades. Really, we're doing hardware upgrades next week. Might do a build stream. I'm still figuring that out. And then after that, we have the possibility of production upgrades. We released. I mean, I released the logo and a new emote during the stream, which is phenomenal. Melody is a cat went ahead and designed Kogass logo. I'm not sure if everybody's seen it, but it is literally Kogass spelled in Arabic, which is a Star Wars language.
It's so cool.
It is dope as shit.
And so I'm very excited about that. What I'm looking to do is get some YouTube videos out there talking about ranked PvP, and trying to see if we can grow the population of ranked PvP, because there's a lot of things out there that people are looking. There's not a lot of things out there that people are looking for to get into ranked PvP, and it's just a completely different beast than the rest of the game that people get scared to hop into or don't know how to handle. That's what I'm looking into. That's the future of Kogass. Or
awesome. Well, your logo. So I told him afterwards, or during his stream, Kogass is getting the first T-shirt with the Kogass logo on it, but it's coming in a couple weeks. It still says it's processing because they don't have the logo. They actually have to make the imprint for it to be able to put it on a shirt. And so I ordered him a shirt for his birthday.
Dude, I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
That's sweet.
So yeah, it is sweet. I'm excited just because he's excited, and I'm just going to give a shout out to Melody. So Melody watches your stream all the time, Kogass, right? And she's always there. And I never knew she was such a good artist. And then she made like a special bit badge or emote just for the 24-hour stream, or was that planned prior to?
No, she made it for the 24-hour stream, from what I understand. I didn't know what was going on, and then she messaged me and said, "Hey, by the way, I made a new emote. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but Neil Plushka and Pure Power are they love it. They love my character Lemon Peel." And so she literally has a picture of a lemon being peeled with butterfly wings, because awesome Lemon Peel has I forgot that armor set, but it's got the armor set that illuminates. It's the light and dark side armor set that illuminates, and they love it with the wings. They call them the butterfly wings, and so they used to be using the little bee emote for that. But as soon as that Lemon Peel emote came out, she was like, "You know what? Let's use it." And so now, whenever they're like, "Let's play Lemon Peel," it's literally Lemon Peel with the butterfly wings.
It's so cool.
That is wicked cool.
And then she made you your awesome logo. Just shout out to Melody. Great job.
Yeah, huge shout. I'm sorry she had to deal with all the revisions I gave her.
But you as an artist, I remember, I don't know, I think I was talking to you, Kogass, about my logo when I was doing it. I put the guy through hell. Because the dog wasn't sitting correct. Oh, the kid, you got to change the hair on that kid. You got to change the hair on that little girl. I need four roots, not 6. All those things were such it sounds ridiculous, but that it's what makes it yours. And right. You want to know that you don't ever want to look at something. It's just like when I build your kitchen. If I build your kitchen and you cheap out on that one thing that was an extra $800, and you're like, for the rest of your life or the rest of the time you're looking at that kitchen, you go, I fucking hate that part of the kitchen. It would be the same thing with your logo. You have it and as an artist, they expect that. So they're excited and they're like, here you go. And you shit all over it. They may be down then, but when when you're thrilled in the end, it's all worth it for them.
Yeah, and that's what she told me. She told me that she wanted me to be picky because she wanted to make sure that I liked the logo. And I have yet. I've been streaming for almost 4 years now, and I never had a logo. Never had a logo. Never had my own. Like, still, people kind of knew me as the Porg guy, but I didn't want to have a Porg as my logo, but I had it there just as a placeholder. And finally, I was just like, well, let's see what we can do here.
It's awesome.
That is awesome. I just realized Kogass and I were not friends on Discord, and that logo is fantastic. That's really cool looking.
So, Nick, what have you been doing? All right, let me back up.
Okay.
How's the research going?
Slowly. So I am now city certified in both the basic biomedical and also the good. What the hell is it called? I have done. Long story short, I have done so much online training for the past week and a half. That's like all I'm doing because there's so many certifications. Because you have to know like all the FDA regulations in and out, all the like submitting to internal review board applications for research in and out, like how to not be like all this training on like how to be ethically like enrolling people and not be the Nazis, basically.
Sure.
So it's a ton of online training. I'll give you an example, and then I'm helping with some of the other studies too. So one of the ridiculous things I had to do was make a Excel spreadsheet of all of the gastroenterologists in Western Mass and Northern Connecticut, north of Hartford, which is like 100 doctors, all of their names, their addresses of all their offices if they have more than one, and their phone numbers, so that we could send them info for a study on the GI tract stuff to say like, hey, like if you think one of your patients fits the criteria, send them over to us, or like let us talk to them to see if they want to be in the study. But that took me like 4 hours of just like Googling people's names and putting them in a spreadsheet.
Wow.
So it's very boring. But once I actually start working on stuff, like real work, it'll be pretty cool. But it's just a slog to get through all the stuff, like in the meantime. But I'm getting paid more and I'm sitting in an office, so like I can't like complain too much. The worst thing is that it's boring,
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So, in other news, though, I got my new desktop since we last recorded.
Whoa!
That needs the alarm.
Yes.
Only if the Bad Feeling podcast was here.
I know.
Rip.
Oh man.
Rip that guy.
Bad feeling about this podcast.
Yeah, I know. I need to be a little more gravelly to be Chuck.
Got to channel your inner Charles. Oh yeah, inner Chuck.
There's a box. There's a penis.
What the fuck is this?
Anyway, so Nick,
that was awesome.
So what's it like having a desktop after only ever having a laptop? Ever.
This is completely and utterly life changing. I have so much screen; it's not even funny. So like, I have So I bought a curved 27-inch, like 1080p. I think it's 160 something hertz monitor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the Asus Tough Gaming.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
It's sweet.
It's legit, dude.
It's epic. And then my other monitor is like an old Asus hand-me-down from Marcus. It's 27-inch, 60 frames, I think. That's my side monitor. That was my primary before, but like. And then I had the laptop screen like off to the side. So the peripherals are the same. I always had like an external keyboard. That's like a pretty nice one. It's a Logitech G910. Yep, from Marcus as well. A Logitech gaming mouse. I think this is the G403. I think it's like the standard issue tournament one. And then but yeah, so with the laptop I had like outdated monitor, still works fine, but outdated for like high refresh rates and stuff. And then my little laptop screen, and to go from that to like a ridiculous monitor, and then the other 27-inch off to the side is my side one, it's just so much more screen. I'm like surrounded by computer screens. It's fantastic. That just in that. Then I loaded GameZip, of course. So I downloaded SOTOR, I downloaded Call of Duty Cold War, and like immediately everything is just completely 110% maxed out. Like we did a for example, I did a operation with Marcus for his birthday on the 31st. Well, the desktop didn't come in until the like second or third that week, the next week. That was birthday was a Sunday. This didn't come in until later in the week, and my laptop could run SOTOR at max everything, but it would drop frames like crazy during an operation when you have like lots of animations happening at the same time.
Yep.
So, but with this, I have done boss fights in like a flashpoint or two, and I never get any frame rate drop. It's like always over 100. It's awesome. Hey, to just even get 100 frames on something. Like, I think the only thing I would get 100 frames on would be like the loading screens of games. You know what I mean?
I do.
And then, yes, so that's the thing. So I played SOTOR, did some story content, did the operation with Marcus before I got the desktop. But then I fired up Call of Duty, which is obviously a newer game, and put the settings at absolute max. And I'm still getting over 100 frames per second.
Beautiful.
Which is just like incredible.
So, Nick, I got a question
so
for you. What mouse are you using?
The Logitech G403, which is not an MMO mouse.
So
I have an MMO mouse.
Is it a first person shooter mouse?
I think
yes.
so.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's like the, it's like the 403 Prometheus or something. It's basically like it's like the gaming tournament mouse. It's like got the two buttons on the side. It's got the extra button on the top and the left and right mouse.
Yeah, it's wired. Standard issue.
Yeah. Standard issue. No, I was just curious because you should try. I mean, you have the USB ports. Hopefully, that you can just have both mice plugged in, and then you swap one mouse for another mouse when you're playing, depending on the game that you're playing.
Okay, that's a good point.
Well, what I will say to that is, when you go from a regular mouse, because I used to be a screen clicker in SOTOR, and you go from a regular mouse to the MMO mouse, like the MMO mouse originally like hurt my hand because like it's so big, and like I felt like, and I know I'm being dramatic, but like I felt like my fingers were like spread out, like my whole palm was on it, and I'm trying to like do everything. Like literally I had to like teach myself how to hold this mouse and use it.
Yeah.
Because it's so big.
That's exact. So I have the same mouse that you use, I think.
Yep.
Do you have the Logitech one?
Yeah.
That's the problem I ran into, but I have to give it another try, like, and actually map the keys properly, like the 1 through 9 or whatever I end up doing with it.
12. Yep.
1 through 12.
Well,
I know there's 12 buttons, but
right. Nick, when I play Call of Duty, like I don't have to hit anything else except WASD and Shift and Space Bar in Call of Duty, and Control, of course, for prone. But like everything else is on my thumb.
Oh, that's cool. See, I don't know if I'd like that. I don't mind. So like I have Q, E, and X, and reload. I take my finger off to reload.
Oh yeah,
but it's not too much stuff. I have crouch on the mouse, which is wicked nice, and then I have melee on the mouse too. That's the two side buttons. So I don't mind that for Call of Duty, but for SOTOR, it's a giant difference because trying to like move and then stop and press the keys and then go back to WASD to move and then or click, either way, it's super duper inefficient. I definitely got to get the gaming mouse set up for SOTOR.
It's hard. Like that's what I found is I can't use any other mouse anymore.
Yeah.
Just because like I can't go from little to big because I'll never get used to it.
Yeah.
You know,
I totally get it.
Yeah, there's a Razer, I think it's called like the Naga Trinity or something.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not as big as the Logitech, but it has all the buttons. It's pretty legit.
Yeah.
But either way, back to the desktop. Would you say you enjoy playing games more now than before?
Definitely. I think Kogass, before the show, you started to talk about something, and I'd love to hear you elaborate on it.
Well, yeah.
Regarding the laptop difference.
Yeah, so like usually when you're on a laptop, usually like the perceived notion, even though it's a gaming laptop, your perceived notion is that it's like a workstation, right? And for me, the biggest difference is the keyboard. It doesn't matter how nice of a keyboard your laptop has. It's not a mechanical gaming keyboard. Doesn't have that clicky sense to it. If you do have to set up for gaming on your laptop and you do want to get a keyboard on it, you're going to get an external keyboard. You're going to get an external mouse. You're going to have to set it's like it's going to turn into like a ritual to just get set up for your gaming. It's going to take 5 minutes or so to get everything up and running, and then you're hunched. It feels like you're hunched down, looking down at the monitor and the keyboard. If you're not using an external one, it's the keys are different. The entire feel and the situation, you're kind of looking at that little screen, unless you're using an external one, which would be, again, like a whole 5 minutes to set everything up. So you go from doing that to your pure desktop, where it's just like, boom, I'm going to sit down in my chair. It's already the perfect height. I've got my keyboard. I've got my mouse. All I needed was my soda and my 27-inch curved monitor.
Right.
Bam, my 27-inch second monitor from Marcus. All right, gonna load up a video game over here. Gonna load up some music over here. All right, I've got my energy drink that we're gonna talk about later on the side, and let's game.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so cool to look at. Like, even when it's off, it's just like I've got RGB everything basically, but it's just cool to have this giant machine compared to like a laptop ready to go, and like the giant monitors are just there like, oh, come play us. We're waiting for you whenever you want. It's perfect graphics every time.
And it's effortless. You
sit
walk
down,
over, you push a button, and it's done. Where sometimes if you had to take your laptop to school or wherever, now you got to take it out of your bag. You got to set it all up. You got to move the cords around. You got to set up the mouse.
Yep. You got to plug in the power, the HDMI, the 2 USB, 3 USBs, one for the external hard drive, one for the mouse, one for keyboard, like all craziness. So this is dramatically easy. I sit down, and the most I have to do is press the power button, and then turn on the games. But I couldn't be happier.
Put the computer to sleep, so all you have to hit is escape.
See, I shut mine off. I
shut mine down when I'm like not home.
Really? Yeah. So I've actually heard from people that because the computer takes up so much like power to turn on, all the money that you would save from having it off for 8 hours in sleep mode is lost in initial turn on for the computer. So that's why they decided to come up with the sleep mode.
Huh. No kidding.
I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just throwing out as that's what I heard. So do not take that as concrete. Do your own research, please.
Will do. Well, I still appreciate it. Well, that's basically it for me. It's been all, one last quick thing. So I've been doing pretty good at this particular Call of Duty. I don't know why, but I've just this one particular Call of Duty I've been performing way better at. Usually I do not. I'm usually like mediocre. But I streamed it into the AIE Discord, which I think worked pretty well. Like another thing that the desktop advantage, I can stream stuff now if I want to, and it won't like be super choppy and stuff. So maybe I'm going to start streaming.
Hell yeah, dude.
I certainly have enough resources between the two of you to help me figure it out. It's just got to come up with a schedule and stuff.
So Kogass helped me set mine up. And here's the thing, Nick, is what I liked about you streaming in Discord, it kind of gives you a little idea and like on how it feels to be like, somebody, whether somebody's watching or not, that somebody could be watching.
Right.
And it's just, that's the first step. And then if you do Streamlabs, whether you do a camera or not on the front end, cool. And then it kind of just grows from there. And, shout out to Roth, who he's streamed a few times now. There's no schedule or anything. He just decides, hey, I'm going to stream this day. He's giving it a go and he's learning how to do it. And it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's almost like people with podcasts. I tell everybody, start a podcast. Just do it. You have something to talk about, do it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to.
Same thing with Twitch streaming.
Yeah. I mean, you just start by going for it. Your stream's not going to be perfect the first time. It's not going to be perfect the second time. audio is something, as you guys as podcasters know, is one of the most painful things to deal with. When I started streaming, I was using a webcam mic,
Yeah.
And it's just, you do a little thing here, a little thing there. And I'm at the point where I'm like, all right, I like all my little things here, but my computer can't handle everything that I want to do now. So we're going to get that upgrade. Yeah, so with you've got that upgrade. You're ready to go.
Nick,
I started on the opposite way. I have the upgrade now.
Well, Nick, and you don't even need a streaming mic because you have the Blue Yeti. All you got to do is buy a boom arm, and now you already have a podcast mic, and then you have the Blue Yeti that was our old mic. You can use that for streaming.
But even that, he's got the NVIDIA, so he does have the NVIDIA, and I'll add to that. He's got the NVIDIA graphics card in there. So he can download NVIDIA Broadcast, and that's something new I'm going to be playing with my new computer build, and that is going to automatically block out the noises that he doesn't need, so he might not need the boom arm right away. Because it should be able to filter out the clicking of the keyboard, which is the most annoying thing.
That's true too.
But either way, you already have a good quality mic to start
with.
Yeah. I think I'd rather not use the podcast mic because
don't.
No, I definitely, because it's the reason why we bought these mics over the Blue Yeti is the Yeti picks up too much stuff.
Right.
So like I almost want the Yeti to be further away from my mouth because the podcast mics, I have to put right up next to my mouth for him to hear me, and they sound great, but it's got such a tiny like area that it picks up sound.
Well, that's right. So when we're talking and and then you just move away from the mic, it just goes away, but then you come back and it's perfect.
Right.
These are the issue we were having was we were getting crazy outside noise. So when we bought these mics, we were like, we sit 3 feet from each other when we podcast.
Right.
We need to make sure that my sound is not getting picked up on theirs. And the Audio Technica guys were like, you want these mics.
Here's the ones. Buy them.
So don't knock the Blue Yetis too much. I'm using a Blue Yeti Pro.
Yeah. For my streams. I think I'm going to do that and just grab the boom arm for it.
Yeah, but Kogass, what we're saying is the Blue Yeti is perfect for streaming.
Right. I think it's better for streaming.
It's not for podcasting.
Gotcha.
Like we tried to buy 2 Blue Yetis originally, but you couldn't use it. So it's these like dynamic mics or whatever they are, condenser mics. I'm not sure.
I think it's dynamic is the ones we have.
But Nick, the thing I'll say about Twitch streaming is consistency, and just do it.
Yeah.
Like Roth, he's doing it once in a while. You're not doing it because of viewers and because it's your job. You're doing it because you want to have fun and just add another layer to your gaming repertoire.
Yeah. I'm pumped about it. Well, that's basically it for me. Marcus
one more thing, just to put it out there. Nick, do you remember who your very first Twitch follower was?
It was none other than Kogass himself.
Oh yeah.
Numero uno. Followed by a very, very angry and grumpy second place Marcus BA14.
I don't lose well.
That was fantastic. Marcus in the chat was like, "Oh, I gotta go follow Nick first. I want to be his first Twitch follower." Then Kogass like,
"I was
too late. I'm already done."
I thought I was already, and I'm terrible at that. But either way, whatever.
So, anyways, Marcus, I know you got a whole lot that just happened, and I want to hear all about it. So, how's it going? What have you been up to? What's going on?
Oh my God. Okay, so I'll start at the beginning. So 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, I'm not even sure when, I got in my Twitch inbox was a invitation to join the Phoenix Cartel stream team. Poxers is the partnered streamer that it's his team. Basically, they're a stream team, and their focus is growing people's channels and helping people grow and just giving some people places to go that promotes positivity and helping others. That's what I really like. Like I got attacked the other night by another Twitch bot, And so I went into the stream team's Discord and I started talking about it. And there's actually settings you can change in Twitch that will significantly cut the bots down. I have it all written down. I don't know all the steps off the top of my head, but like it was just that little thing for me. I was like, wow, that's so cool. I would have never had that prior to this. You know what I mean? Or I would have had to like look for it.
Wait, can you explain what do you mean by a Twitch bot?
So there's bots in Twitch, and Kogass can probably explain it better than me, but there's bots that come in and you can have a viewer bot, which is basically a computer program that comes and generates viewers to make it look like you have, like if I have 6 viewers, there's a good chance that my 6 viewers are real people, but you can see some people that have 500 viewers and who they could have a view bot that is showing 300 people that aren't real people watching. And what it does is it drives people to watch your channel.
Right. So you got attacked by one?
So there's the chat bot where these bots come in and they just start chatting. It was weird because it was like the first question was like, hey, I'm really happy to be here. And I was like, hey, thank you so much. I don't remember bot name. And so then I was like, oh, how's everything going? And the next sentence was, I like Anakin Skywalker. And and my immediate reaction in stream was like, the fuck?
That's weird.
What is that? And then I was like, well, I like Anakin Skywalker about as much as I like sand. And and I'm just trying to like, and then like the people actually watching the stream were laughing about it. But then I forget, the next thing was like,
it was just weird things.
Yeah, like it was like Star Wars is really fun. And I'm like, okay, now I know this is a bot.
Yeah.
And I think Kogass banned it. But it's happened before. But I actually, in one stream, I think I had 2 or 3 of them hit me, like the bots. And when I looked at the viewer list to see who was streaming, like who was watching, those bots weren't even in the viewer list. It was weird, man. It was really, really, really weird. So, but anyway, so back to the stream team, I actually got advice from people who know about this,
right?
Which was pretty cool.
That is wicked cool. That's cool to have like a support system you can look toward, like an official one, you know?
Yeah, yes. It's really nice. It's really nice to have that. I wish I had that when I got attacked by bots, because there was one night, don't know what happened.
Oh, I remember that.
Dude, there were so many bots. It was chat bots. It was view botting. And I got, it bombarded my follower list too. Like I got 400 extra followers that night. I'm like, it didn't actually come up as notifications. I don't know if Streamlabs was able to notice that those were all bots, but it was like a lot of like weird things too, similar chats to Marcus. The chat was just off, and I was just like, well, there's nothing I can do here. I think one of the VIPs, OG Blumar, was like, dude, turn on emote chat only, and then the bots will go, like, it'll filter out the bots out of the chat for whatever reason. But the whole thing is, at the level that I got it, somebody has to pay for a bot attack. So I'm just flattered that somebody hates me so much that they have to pay money to somebody else to do a virtual attack on my Twitch. It's flattering, really.
That is flattering.
It's a little another check mark on that I'm a real Twitch streamer kind of thing.
Well, I was there because I think I was at work, and I logged in, and it was a normal night, and he had like 30 viewers, right? And I went and was cutting some other stuff, and then I looked back, and it was like 80 viewers, and I texted him. I was like, 80 viewers? Where the hell did that come from? And then in like a minute later, he texted me. And he's like, dude, 120 WTF is going on. Something isn't right. And I was like, okay, I better jump in there. And I was watching it, and it was just going up. Like at one point there was 160 viewers. That's the last I remember. Yeah. And he's like, this isn't right. Like he stopped when he was done with his match. He like messaged Twitch and was like, listen, I'm getting attacked right now, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Wow. And the whole thing was because it was a follower thing. I was at like 1,890 followers. So I was gonna do like I was originally planning to do a 24-hour stream for my 2,000 follower mark, but that night completely threw off those numbers, and I was just like, well, there goes celebrating any kind of following number,
right?
Because I it's not legitimate, and I can't hype it up. I can't be excited about it. It bummed me out for a whole minute.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I hope that guy spent his money, or whoever it was that thought it would be worth it. Hope they got it, because we've moved on, and I just pity the person who feels that way.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, pity the foo. So this is my first year streaming. April will be my 1 year mark, and so I really, really enjoyed streaming. If you've watched my stream or listened to this show, I'm a pretty passionate person, and I'm a pretty excitable kind of guy. Like I'm not a dull person, I would say.
You are, well, yes, you're definitely not boring. Very passionate. I was gonna try to make a joke and call you stupid, but it didn't really.
Well, no. Nick, no. There's a difference between being dull or very energetic and being stupid. I'm definitely stupid. There's no question of that one. Yeah. Come on. But what I mean is, so I feel like streaming has connected me more to what my passions are. Yep. It's people. I love people. And I'm that weird guy that if I don't talk to you for a couple weeks, I will reach out to you on Discord or shoot you a text message just to make sure you're doing okay. Or I'm that guy that always just is like random calls you and you're like, fuck, I don't want to talk to Marcus. But like whether you pick up the phone or not, you know that I'm thinking about you and I'm calling, right? It's just who I am.
Absolutely.
And streaming has really like allowed me to do that. And I say this all the time. When somebody clicks the follow button for me, I get this really weird feeling like I want to cry and say thank you, but like I get so excited because like they're choosing to follow me, and it costs them nothing, but if they don't actively click the button to not get notifications when I go live, they're getting notified every time I go live, right?
Yeah.
So how could I give back? I wanted to do a birthday stream. I messaged Kogass and I said, I think I'm going to do it. And he goes, dude, you got to do it.
Yeah.
So my birthday was a couple weeks ago. Now it was the 31st of January. And I did a birthday stream. It was probably one of the most fun nights I've ever had playing video games. Because, not only the people that I care the most about were hanging out with me in stream, we got to play together. Like I played games with my friends at night, like in game, and we were all just hanging out for my birthday. And then they butchered "Happy Birthday" and sang it to me.
It was fantastic.
It was glorious.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, for sure. And I had so much fun doing it. Like I'm actually looking forward to next year's birthday stream because like I had so much fun doing it. But it was wild. I had so much fun, and thank you to everybody who has been supporting the channel. And then I'm not going to talk about Zyos because stay tuned for Zyos talk. I wanted to ask you both. Ooh, excuse me. Have you guys heard about the game called Outriders?
I think so. I don't remember. I'm going to Google it right now.
Okay, so both of you Google. All right, so it's a third-person 3-man loot shooter. It sounds to me like it's like a Destiny.
Yeah,
but it's made by Square Enix.
Yeah, what's the Disney JRPG? Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts. Yeah.
What about it?
Oh, Square Enix makes Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, and Final Fantasy.
So
they're saying that this is a story-driven game, and you can play it co-op with friends. It's going to be like a Destiny, a Division, stuff like that, but it's super, super focused on story. And like from what I understand, the story of the game is like 100 hours long.
Wow,
that's cool.
Plus side quests. So I've been watching a lot about it because I've been interested in playing a new loot shooter game because I really love the Borderlands games.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, and then okay, let me just breathe for a second. I'm getting a 3090.
We really need
Kogass can talk about it. Yeah, Kogass can talk about it earlier in the show, and I don't care about that part because this is now coming from me.
Yeah.
So when they announced the new card, so everybody knows, my current card is a Titan XP, which is a 2016 top of the line video card from NVIDIA. Like there was I don't even remember what it was, the 1080, maybe. The 1080 was the best card, and the Titan was above that. Yep. And so everybody, when I was buying it, was like, "You're stupid. Just buy the 1080 Ti. Like it's gonna last you." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "No, you buy a card to buy years. The more you spend on a card today, the longer it lasts years down the road. Yeah. If you buy a 2060 or a 3060, yes, it's great now, but a year from now or 2 years from now, you're going to need another card because that card isn't going to be able to handle the next stuff."
Right.
You get what you pay for. You want a $300. You want a $300 graphics card. You're going to get a $300 graphics card. You want a $1,600 graphics card. You're going to get your money out of it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And everybody can say all the time that you get, you're wasting your money. I disagree completely. I bought my video card in 2016. I 4K game, and all of my games I still play on Ultra, but I don't get 60 frames because 4K renders so much. But if I turn it to 1080p, it runs great, right?
Yeah.
This card still is awesome. The problem is it's starting to show its age with the new games that are coming out. And the big one, like Call of Duty, like I'm having trouble streaming it and playing it.
Yeah.
Like, remember Battlefront, Nick, when we were playing Battlefront 2?
Yeah.
Like my stream looked awful.
Yeah.
And that was where I was like, my card is past its prime. But if I bought a card, but if I didn't buy the Titan, it's 4 years ago now.
Yeah, you would have had to.
I would be owning a 2080 Ti.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and when these cards were getting talked about, I remember talking to Kogass about it. And I said, "I'm getting the Titan," and he's like, "There is no Titan anymore." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "No, it's called the 3090." I said, "Well, then that's what I'm going to get." Yeah. And then the conversations are like, "Oh, it's not worth it. It's not worth it." And then the benchmarks started coming out.
And they're like, well, "It's worth it.
It's worth it." Like, so when they come out with the 3080 Ti, it'll be more comparable to this. I call it the Titan, but the 3090. Yeah. But right now, it's the card. Yes. So I'm basically buying myself years.
Yeah,
but
100%.
But here's the magic of it. So if anybody ever obviously doesn't know, Kogass is actually a really good friend of mine now. And him and I chat on the phone all the time, and we were talking on the phone, and I was like, "Man, I really want to get a 3090. I can't get one. Every website, everywhere, they're just sold out. The bots bought them. I don't know. Like, it makes me think, did the bots buy them, or did they really release 30 million of them and they're just gone, right? Who knows? Yeah. Or did they really only release 3 million and they're like, sorry, sold out?
Right.
I mean, the whole thing is it's a list of things, right? It's the bots bought them. It's their performance, right? So you're getting, if you're looking at when NVIDIA came out with their announcements, 3070, 3080, 3090, you had before this a 2080 Ti. The 3070 outperformed
3060.
The 3070, they announced the 3060 afterwards, but the 3070 was outperforming the 2080 Ti. This is a $400 graphics card that is or $500 outperforming the last gen's $1,200 graphics card.
Right. Yep.
So you have something at a quarter of a price that is outperforming something from a year ago was a top of the line. So you have all these people who have their 20 series cards that are upset. They want an upgrade. They want the better card. And then you have the pandemic that's hitting, and people are wanting to just do more gaming, so they want to upgrade it as well. Yep. So you have those two different pools of people. You still have the bots that are buying everything up. So there's just so many different factors that add into how hard it is to get a graphics card when they've been out for months.
Yeah.
Yeah, so long story into this, because it's not short. So Kogass and I, now we're dating back, I don't know, a month, maybe 3 weeks ago. I don't know, whatever it was. He messaged me, and it was, you need to call me right away. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Call me right now. I'm like, oh, fuck. And immediately I was like, oh, shit, I hope he's okay. So I call him, and he's like, do you want a 3090? Like, he didn't even say hi to me. It was just like, do you want a 3090? I was like, well, of course I want a fucking 3090. Like,
yeah, like, I also want $1 million. Like,
right, exactly. Like, that's a dumb question. Of course I do, but it's impossible. He hangs up, or he might, no, he didn't hang up. He's like, look at your phone. I had a text. It was a receipt with like a SKU showing 3090 in the price. And I was like, what the hell is that? He goes, dude, I can get 2 of them. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, a friend of mine works at a store, and they just came in from an online sale, and now they don't know what to do with them. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, they don't know what to do with them. He just called me. I'm going to the store, and I'm going to buy one. And I was like, well, that's awesome. I'm glad you're getting one. He's like, no. You're going to send me the money, and I'm going to buy it. And I was like, well, and he's like, and I was like, dude, you're not buying me a card when you need to build your computer, right?
Yeah.
So what does Kogass do? He buys both of them, calls me and says, Venmo me the money. I was like, what? So he buys both of them, one for himself and one for me. So I sent him the money, and now I'm getting my upgrade that I so desperately need. And in typical working class nerds fashion, so Nick finds out, and he's like, well, this is bullshit.
Yeah, shit.
I finally get a card, have a card that's better than Marcus's, and
my setup was better than Marcus's for like 48 hours or something. And he's like, boom, bitch, I got a 3090. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? The one product that can make your computer better than mine. And you magically, Kogass pulled a literal two rabbits out of your hat.
Well, shout out to Kogass's buddy, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And that's the magic of it. Because if Kogass's buddy, let's say Kogass's buddy wanted him, right? I wouldn't have it. But this guy was like, hey, I've got these. They're gonna go away. What do you want to do? Yeah. And
somebody's gonna get them.
Yeah,
if you don't want them, somebody else is gonna get them.
That's right. They're not even gonna last on the shelf. Somebody's gonna walk by and just buy it. But you could hear the tires on Kogass's car peeling out driving down the road.
Yeah. As soon as they opened. As soon as they opened.
Right. So my computer is upgraded and is going to be exactly what I want because of Kogass, and I'm super fucking excited for it. Now,
do you want help building that, by the way?
No, I just got to pop out the old card and pop it in.
It's pretty straightforward, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So here's the other side of that. It's going to be an interesting conversation on Wednesday when my wife gets home, because I did not get the approval at all. So I'm hoping that I can just play it off, be like, oh, he just sent me a couple t-shirts. No, nothing to see here. Move along.
Dude, that box is heavy.
We're all fine here.
Yeah, we're all fine here. Nothing.
How are you?
Yeah, great. How are you? So that's going to be an interesting conversation, but I'm hoping that like she's just like, yeah, whatever, you get stuff all the time. What is it? Just, stream stuff. And then if it drops there, I'll pop out the old one, pop out in the new one, and she doesn't know what it looks like to have one of those things inside the box. It looks like the same thing all the time. Perfect.
Right.
Anyway, so Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
All right. So now that we're in an hour and we've just finished what we
have been up to.
Oh my God. So, Nick, in SOTOR news, can you read the? Okay, so first of all, they tweeted this out yesterday. Nobody was expecting this, but Nick, can you read out what the Twitter post was?
Absolutely. It says game update 6.2.1 will be launching Friday, February 16th. The full list of patch notes will be here live. And it gives you a link on the 15th, and we'll cover the end of ranked PvP season 13, amplifier and uprising changes, and more.
So it's actually Tuesday the 16th, but that's okay. So today, so the patch notes are coming on the 15th, which fine. I argued with Kogass before the show because I was like, they're patch notes, and he goes, "No, you idiot. They're the same as the last ones." So today they gave us a game update 6.2.1 brings amplifier changes. So Kogass, what do you think about these changes?
So it's double-edged sword. It really depends on how much you trust your RNG. So the big changes, I don't know how to. I like to read it and then regurgitate it in a way that I understand. So the big thing that they're changing is that you have a lock on the quality of the amplifier that you're getting. So right now you re-roll the amplifiers. It can be anything, any quality. What's going to happen is you're going to get, you can have this button where you lock the quality to the highest one. So you can lock it to green, blue, purple, or gold. As soon as you roll that for the first time. Thing is, though, that if you scroll down to the bottom gift that they have, and you finally roll a gold for the first, however long it took you to do it, and then you say lock to the gold, the price goes from 20K beforehand to over 400K on gold quality.
Wow.
400K for a gold quality reroll. Really expensive in my opinion. My method is usually if I'm re-rolling on those amplifiers, I'm usually once it comes up to 50K, if I don't get what I'm looking for, I switch it out with a different mod or different armoring that I'm looking for. The enhancement one doesn't really affect combat. It affects other stuff. I think people go for the featherweight one sometimes with that, where you take less damage from fall damage. I'm not worried about it. So the armorings are pretty easy to get. The mods are a little bit tougher to get. You just kind of collect them as you can. So I can kind of understand it for the mods. But 400K for a reroll for legendary, man, that's not guaranteeing you that you get the legendary that you want. That's for a legendary reroll, and we don't know how much it's going to go up per roll after that. It might be 430K for the first one, and then 480K, 500K, 560K, 700K. You don't know how much it's jumping. So it's a double-edged sword. You get what you want. If you have the credits for it, cool, great. If you don't have the credits for it, I think you're better off doing what I said earlier. As soon as you don't get what you roll for up to 50K, swap it. You don't take out the old one. You just put a new one, brand new one back in, and you're starting at 20K up to 50K again. Rinse and repeat until you get the amplifiers you want.
Yeah, I don't foresee, because what I'm afraid of is not only is it going to be 400K, but are they going to add a bunch of bullshit gold ones just to make it a credit sync?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. Like gold rated fall damage.
Right.
Anyways, Nick, but the one thing I wanted to know about was how said there's going to be an improved interface.
Yes. So they're going to improve the user interface and it says, in order to enhance the readability of the amplifier interface, we have changed the display into a tree-based view. Now you can collapse or expand each amplifier in the list to better see which amplifiers are available and their stat ranges. When you open your character sheet, the amplifier list will now appear automatically and show precisely what amplifiers are equipped. Selecting any amplifier in that list will open up the recalibration window, which allows you to recalibrate that amplifier into something else. The recalibration window is where that tree-based view really shines. Now you'll be able to quickly discern exactly what recalibration options you have for that particular amplifier. All of this is meant to not only make the entire recalibration experience faster, but also much easier to understand. And then we have a whole bunch of graphics on the post showing
so
what we're talking about.
Right. So I do like that, and because you're gonna, if you can, I do like that to know that, okay, if I'm upgrading this amplifier, am I going to be getting the like is the one that I want in this tree? I do like that part.
Mm-hmm.
I really do, because now it's going to make it clear for me: am I wasting credits, or do I know what I'm doing?
Right.
And then further down, they talked about there's the before and after, how they're making the visual changes, and it looks to me like they're making it a simplified version. There's only one gold for each amplifier. But I want to know is, are these actually needed, right? Are these, they say they're extra stats, but I really think you actually need them for the content, some of the content.
Yeah. Wait, that you do or don't need them for the content?
You do. They say you don't, but I think you actually do.
Okay.
Well, either way,
it's hard to know without like seeing the underlying changes, right? Like,
right. And
like,
if you're
seeing like the I don't know, differences in damage or differences in like, how little damage you're taking and things like that, like what the brass tacks, like you need like a star parse or something of like with and without your amplifiers,
100%.
But it's interesting.
Anyway,
nice that they're making like quality of life changes. Those are always better.
Well, again, going back to my tinfoil hat, they're upgrading the engine, and they're totally upgrading the engine. And what are they doing? They're upgrading all of their UI to get it ready for the engine upgrade.
That would be sweet.
Yeah. So
it would be really exciting to see an upgrade to the stats on color crystals.
That's interesting too.
To make that a little more clear.
So color crystals, when the game came out, the stats on the color crystals have not changed since the release of the game. You always had to set like the lower level tiers, and they would level up with you. I think the first one started at like +4, mastery, endurance, or crit, and it went all the way up to 41. And when the game released, 41 was a decent amount of the stats. I mean, you have to remember the game released. If you hit 1,000 on any kind of number, it was huge at level 50. But since then, they released, the cartel market. And when the cartel market was released, they had color crystals being at the same value of 41. Since they were like, well, how am I going to get, if they come out with new color crystals, how am I supposed to get those new stats with the color crystals? Am I going to have to do something? So they came out a long time ago and they said, you know what? We are not going to change color crystals. They're going to be a static stat for the game. So +41 has been there since release. Obviously, they've added color crystals, but they've never changed that stat at all. I've always been curious if they're going to ever change that. If they do during the 10-year anniversary, you heard it here first, folks.
Kogass called it. That'd be a good section of the stream or of a podcast. The Kogass called it section, where it's just conspiracy theories.
Oh, the tinfoil hat section. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, absolutely. Marcus, is there anything happening with AIE that we should know about?
Whoa! In AIE news, so in SOTOR, you have, it's called Total Galactic War, and they do it 2 or 3 times a year, where every planet is invadable to be able to do your conquest and take it over. Well, every time they do it, we as a guild do it. And since I've joined the guild, I think we've taken over. Now with this one, I've gotten 4 planets, which is awesome. But this time, we've never worked so hard to do it. And what I mean is, we went after Ziost, which is the planet Ziost, and the people that were, I forget the team, the guild that was against us. It was like the Jedi something. Anyway, they were really close to us. Like, they would gain and we would be like 1 million ahead, and then we would gain up 7 million, and then they would crawl back to like 4 million. And every single night in the guild, we were grouping up as groups doing conquest stuff. I mean, I killed Taboro's Courtyard, the golden poodle, so many times this week, killing Lucky over and over, rampaging from planet to planet to planet. For anybody that doesn't know, rampaging is just killing enemies, like regular old enemies. And you kill 75 per planet and move to the next one, and it gives you a ton of conquest points. And the groups, shout out to everybody who did it. I think Max said there were 350 characters last week that contributed to Conquest.
Wow.
And that's amazing.
And that's alts and everything else. And, people were putting up 1 million points a day, 1.5 million points a day. I think we ended at like 159 million conquest points. And, we're a big guild, but we're not a big like conquest guild.
Yeah.
It just like the people on our team. There was somebody on our team, Skakik. He put up like 5 million points on like 3 tunes or 4 tunes. Like, just beyond anything else. So we took over Ziost, and on Tuesday night for our mandatory fun night, it actually worked out perfectly for me, because I really wanted to celebrate with the guild because we all worked so hard to win that planet. And my raid leader had real life work where he had to like stay late. So we called the raid for Tuesday night. We still raided Wednesday, but it was awesome for me because I got to hang out with the guild on like the celebration night. And to celebrate, Max took a bunch of hyper crates and opened them and gave everybody who contributed and who was there. They'll be there for a week. So if you contributed, you'll only be able to take out 1 item, but you'll get 1 ultimate cartel pack, which was pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And we all worked so hard, and big shout out to BC, friend of the show, B Cavs. He coordinated this. He was making sure that like this was happening and this was happening, and making sure that I was running this group this night and somebody else was running a group that night. And we really, really, really kicked some serious butt. Hey, BioWare, you guys should probably do the Total Galactic War more than 2 or 3 times a year. You should probably do it 4 times a year. Like every 3 months would be awesome.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Because it gives a chance for the little guilds to be able to win a planet versus over the big guilds.
If they do it every 3 months, that's still 4 times a year.
They don't do it 4 times a year now. I think they only do it. I think they only do it twice a year.
Yeah.
Because we did, I think it was like later last year. I remember we took Nar Shaddaa, and like the year before that, it was Section X. So it was very, it's very few and far between. And I personally like that because it's a different type of content. So like Kogass, you mostly do PvP. I mostly do operations. Like that week, I was doing stuff to get points. I didn't really care about anything else. And it was just a different style of playing, which was wicked cool.
Definitely.
And yeah.
That is pretty awesome. Hey, If all this sounds fun to you, go to aie-guild.org, jump in the Discord, and ask for a guild invite, whether or not you play Star Wars: The Old Republic or any of the other games that we play. We would love to have you.
And if you see Nick Verne streaming in
AIE Discord,
in the AIE Discord, pop in that channel and just be like, "Yo,
what's up? I heard you're terrible at Call of Duty."
No,
I heard you were streaming some Call of Duty.
Yeah,
I was streaming some Call of Duty.
He was streaming Call of Duty, and it was pretty awesome, and it was really smooth. You know, Discord's such an awesome app.
It's cool that, like, you can just, like, you know, show stuff to your friends, essentially. It's like, hey, I'm playing. You want to watch stream? Oh, sure. That's cool. And just to check in like that. Or even just to be able for when Joey and I streamed the Legion game during AIECon. It's just cool to be able to just toss it up there without having it be, like, so formal like a Twitch stream, you know?
Right. Okay, Nick, you got to go to the bathroom?
I definitely do. For an hour and 20 minutes in, and I'm ready to explode, so we'll be right back.
Jeez, Nick, hurry up. We're trying to finish this podcast.
And we're back. So today, we're having a bit of a unique discussion on Working Class Nerds. We don't usually get into dedicated things about, like, medical issues or medical subjects, I should say. And today we're talking about energy drinks. So, so obviously, lots and lots and lots of people who play video games drink energy drinks and things to pump you up so you can keep playing longer, you can play better, you have more energy to play. Marcus drinks a lot of energy drinks. Is it?
Well, so I drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, so I drink a lot of coffee, and I don't know, a few months ago, I started drinking, like, I had a Monster, and I was like, wow, this actually tastes pretty good. I kind of like the taste. I always did, like, even back when I was a young buck, going to the bar, I would always get a Red Bull vodka, because you get totally wasted and jacked up. It's like the greatest thing ever. Or was.
Yeah, and you're not, like, falling asleep.
Correct.
It's a good combo. In college, I used to start my evening with, like, a Jaeger bomb or something with
exactly.
Red Bull.
So perfect.
Yeah, and then switch to something else, but you got that, like, you're a little jacked up already.
Yes.
It just carries you through the evening.
Exactly.
Please continue.
So we've been talking about this in the background, Nick and I, about, all right, are they bad for us or are they not bad for us? Like, what makes an energy drink so bad? Because my wife's like, you're going to die. So I was drinking Monster, and I honestly, I would drink a whole Monster and I would feel fine. The next day, my stomach would be destroyed from it. And I'm like, okay, clearly there's something in this that is not good for me, because why would I feel like shit?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then the conversation came up is, are they bad for us or not? And Nick was like, well, we should probably talk about it. So Nick, why are energy drinks bad versus coffee? Because it's the same amount of caffeine in them.
Right. So energy drinks are unique in they take things that lots and lots of things that in isolation are not that bad for you, but when you put them together all in the same one beverage, makes this terrible cocktail for you. So caffeine by itself is not a big deal. If you drink a ridiculous amount of caffeine, it can be. But basically what caffeine does, and most stimulants do, is it hijacks your cell's mechanism to make energy and says, hey, produce more even though you don't need it. So you have all this extra energy, and now that you can use it to do stuff. So normally you're getting energy from the food you eat. You know, the simplified version is you have a little your cell uses the glucose that gives it a certain amount of energy, and voila, you have more energy to use. You feel energized. And then as you get hungry and you don't have as much glucose kicking around, you start to get a little tired, you eat something, you feel better. Well, any stimulant, like I'll stick with caffeine, for example, forces your body to make more energy with different sort of, without the normal fuel that it would have, right? That's why, like, it's a short-term thing. And then you're sort of don't have those reserves. I'll put it to you this way. Say you have a regular fuel tank on your Starship, right? You got your regular fuel, and then you got your little bit of side emergency fuel. What caffeine does is it makes you use the emergency fuel off to the side all the time, right? So you have a boost, but then eventually that runs out and you don't have any energy anymore. And you feel that's what like the crash from like an energy drink comes from. Am you following so far?
Yep.
So
I just wanted to ask, Nick, do you drink energy drinks?
So yes, but I also not consistently, I should say, but I'm not. I once in a while will have an energy drink, probably like once every 2 or 3 months or something.
What about you, Kogass?
Not consistently, no. I do not drink energy drinks all the time.
Okay.
I do drink coffee every single day in rather large quantities, but that's a lot better for you than energy drinks, and I'll explain why shortly. So you're following so far, so like how too much of like a stimulant like caffeine can be bad for you. So on top of that, so it forces you to have this extra energy, right? In order for that to happen, it jacks up your heart rate, so how often your heart is beating. When you're increasing how often the heart's beating, that means the pressure of your blood that's flowing around is increased, right? Because you've got that squeezing is happening more frequently, so the pressure inside all of those blood vessels is higher. Now, when you increase your heart rate unnaturally, like with a drug or something, so this is true of any stimulant, like if you're doing a bunch of cocaine, your heart rate's jacked up from the drug.
Pam, stop doing cocaine.
Cocaine. Yeah. So you can get heart palpitations or heart arrhythmias, which an arrhythmia just means that there's a specific order that the parts of your heart are supposed to move in. And when that gets desynchronized, like some parts move in too many times per cycle, that can cause a lot of problems. Or if it's not cycling, one part's not cycling 100% each time, it's like only doing a partial movement, that it gets all screwed up. So that's what's happening when people feel heart palpitations. That's a palpitation is somebody feeling their heart go into an arrhythmia, like an unnatural rhythm. So when you have this drug saying, hey, beat faster, beat faster, beat faster, your heart can get out of sync. And sometimes it goes out of sync and goes right back into sync once that wears off and you're okay. But if you do that for, over and over and over again, for, the longer your heart is in an arrhythmia, the more likely it's going to stay there. And that's not good. It's unhealthy. Obviously, if you're drinking a bunch of caffeine, it can give you insomnia. If you're drinking it at night, meaning like you can't sleep at night. If you're drinking them all day, then you're just not going to sleep at night, and that causes a whole litany of other issues. You can get dehydrated, especially with energy drinks, because it's super sugary, which makes you pee more. Sugar triggers you to pee. You've got carbonation that also triggers you to pee because it's acidic. You've got the sugar also makes it more acidic, makes you pee. Then you've got the caffeine and all the other stimulants also making you want to pee. So they just make you take extra water that your body would have stored normally and like used for things and just flushes it out because it's trying to flush all of the crap you just drank in the energy drink out and makes you pee extra, so you can get dehydrated. And then also all that extra energy from the energy drink you probably don't need unless you're like working out or something, so you're going to be restless and jittery and not feel great anyways. So those are just like the standard issue side effects that you can get from just an energy drink. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
Okay. I am.
Have you guys ever had that where like you drink an energy drink and you're like jittery or like you feel itchy for no reason?
The jitters. I never feel itchy, but I can definitely feel the jitterness.
So Marcus, go ahead.
I definitely, so when I drank Monster, I definitely got so jacked up, but believe it or not, like I felt like I was so jacked up and I was almost like my body was so jacked up, like I actually was getting tired, like mid peak of caffeine from the Monster.
Yeah.
Like I was actually like getting tired and like I wasn't feeling right.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It's like you're tired, but then you can't really fall asleep. You're in this weird, like in between, like your body's fighting itself. That's what it feels like, kind of.
Yep.
I've been there before too.
I felt that.
So what else?
Okay, so here's where my big question is.
Okay.
So are they bad for you? I'll give an example. So I definitely am on the side of the coin that the OG Monster, that is not good for you.
Correct.
Because I don't feel good after I drink that.
Mhm.
Like it's ultra, ultra, ultra filling, right? Just to
Yeah.
start with.
Yeah.
Like it actually like fills me up. But later on, I feel like complete ass after I drink that.
Yeah.
Where now I'll go to the other side. So now I have the powder, which is called G Fuel, and I drink that almost every night that I stream. I have a cup of it, and I pound. I don't know how big are these. How big are the Smart Waters? 33.8 ounces. So I'll drink the G Fuel in its shaker, and I'll drink a whole bottle of water with it.
Perfect.
And it gives me crazy energy. I feel fine, and I recently got the G Fuel can, and it has zero everything. Like 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0, 0, 0 across the board, right?
It's great.
And this is where this conversation sparked on, okay, why is an energy drink bad for you if it has 0 everything? Like what? I don't get it.
What's in it?
So
go ahead, Kogass.
So my parents are biomedical engineers, so they kind of talk about the composition stuff. So I understand a little bit more than what's going on, more than the average person. So it's like, you know, when it's like, I can't believe it's not butter and the fake sugars and all this. They say it's none of this, like it's no sugars, nothing this, but it's the sugar replacement. It's the artificial sugar.
Right.
And what ends up happening is because those are unnatural chemical compounds, right? They make it so that it's sugar, but it's not real. They make it and they're like, all right, well, it's got 0 sugar, but it's got this substitute sugar stuff in it. It's actually more unhealthy. The way they explain it to me, whether it's true or not, it's more unhealthy to have that in your body because your body doesn't know how to break it down.
Correct. Yeah.
And so it says it's 0 sugar. And that's why they say like Diet Coke is worse for you than regular Coke, because Diet Coke has 0 calories in it. But because it has 0 calories in it, doesn't mean it's the same as water. Water has 0 calories in it, and water is the baseline reference for everything that you're intaking into your body, because we are completely, you know, our entire body is based off of water. So for you to say this is 0 calories compared to water, is it the same as water? You know, that's my argument to people. Why doesn't it look like water? Well, it's, you know, that's kind of why I'm not too big of a fan of, you know, all these other supplements that are drinks that they say they're all 0 sugar, 0 carbs and all that. Yeah.
You're honestly better off having the full sugar version than the 0 calorie version. Now, to expand upon your point, it's definitely better for you having sugar versus the fake sugars. Here's what's happening when you have an artificial sweetener, or like something that's supposed to make something sweet. What they did is they found a compound in a lab that your body can't break down to give you energy, which is why it's 0 calories, because your body cannot use it for energy. So it's just stuck trying to deal with this chemical in your body that also happens to be the right shape to activate your sweet receptors in your mouth. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So like your nervous system receptors are like remember that game for toddlers? It's like you put the square peg in the round hole thing.
Yeah.
So like that's how receptors work. Like the sweet one is the sweet receptor is the round hole. You put the sugar molecule as the round peg. Well, this molecule that's the artificial sweetener has a piece of it that's shaped like a round peg, so it fits in the round hole, and it activates your tongue to say, hey, this is sweet, but it doesn't properly get processed when you try to digest it, which is why it's 0 calories. Now you just have this chemical floating around, and most of the time, because your sweet receptors got activated, that triggers your digestive system to produce insulin. This is really complicated, but basically it triggers the mechanism for your body to handle the sugar that's not there. And that's bad. That's part of the mechanism that can lead to people having diabetes. If it's because it's stressing out the cells that end up failing when people develop type 2 diabetes. If you want to look it up a little more complexly, look up the glycemic load of different foods, which means like it's essentially how much is your pancreas excreting insulin, like how much is your body reacting to the sugar that's in your diet? Well, you still get a reaction like it would be sugar, but there's no sugar there for it to break down. The long story short is the 0-calorie versions of stuff are a lot worse for you than the regular sugar versions. Just because there's no energy doesn't mean that that's better. It's better to have something that your body can actually break down properly than not. Are you with me so far? That got a little complicated.
No, I completely get it.
Yeah.
But again, it brings me back to when I drink a Monster, I feel like shit.
Oh, yeah. I'll get to that part.
But
I just want to break down that one piece of the sugar versus no sugar thing. So, holistically, one of the reasons why people freak out about energy drinks being bad for you is not because of any one thing, right? Like sodas have sugar in them and they're carbonated, like a Coca-Cola. That doesn't tear up your stomach like a Monster does, though, right? I don't know the last time you drank a Coke was, but you get my point. So, carbonation's not great for you, but it's not terrible. That's a baby thing. Tons of sugar, not great for you, but not a big deal. The artificial sweeteners in the 0-calorie versions are definitely not good for you. But then you also have exorbitant amounts of B vitamins, which if you drink just the Monster and don't get any B vitamins in your diet, not a big deal because it's like 100% of your diet. But B vitamins can give you an artificial sense of energy too, because they kind of, in a weird way, overactivate like your nerves sometimes. So like, for example, for me, if I take my multivitamin in the morning and drink a Monster, so I already have like a good chunk of my B vitamins taken care of with the multivitamin, and then the Monster's like 150% of the B vitamins daily, I feel like this weird itchy tingly sensation because my nerve endings have too much vitamin V, which is weird.
That is weird.
That's definitely not good. And that also taking giant amounts of vitamins, it will tear up your stomach too. So on top of that, you start to get into what's actually giving you energy besides the vitamins, right? Because vitamins aren't that bad. That's not a big deal. But in what makes energy drinks the worst is the combination of stuff. So you've got the sugar, you got the vitamins, you've got the too many vitamins, you've got a little bit of carbonation, and you have like a literal, I'm reading the back of the can of Monster, it says it's an energy blend. So they have taurine, 1,000 milligrams, which is a lot. That's a stimulant similar to caffeine in and of itself. You've got Panax ginseng, 200 milligrams, which is another stimulant. And then they've got the energy blend of L-carnitine, which is another, binds the same receptors, caffeine, guarana, which is, again, like a stimulant. Then a bunch of sugary things, glucose, inositol, which is a fake sugar, a thing I cannot even pronounce, and then maltodextrin, which is another fake sugar. So, and this is the regular can of Monster, has 5 different stimulants, regular sugar and glucose, and 2 different artificial sweeteners. So you get the cocktail of like the worst possible things you could stick in there for you that aren't like hard drugs.
Right. So I'm reading the G Fuel. It's carbonated water, maltic acid, sodium glutamate, natural and artificial flavor, caffeine, vitamin blend, vitamin C, potassium sorbate, preservative, potassium citrate.
That's a preservative again.
Sucralose.
Yep.
SUCRALOSE. Sorry, I'm reading sideways.
So that is another type of sugar, but it's a naturally forming one.
Okay, so
your body can break down.
Okay, so something potassium, thiene, green coffee bean extract, green tea extract, thermatic extract, tart cherry, blueberry, and kale. So everything that I've read in that, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like it's bad.
No. I would say, you have vitamins, which is fine. Like, as long as you're not taking a good too much like I do on accident.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with that statement, Marcus.
There is some bad stuff.
So my thing is anything that's hard to read, anything that's hard to understand, when you're reading ingredients, it's at that point where I'm just like, that's not healthy for you.
Yeah.
Or if it says preservatives.
Right. I mean, I will give G Fuel some credit. It is definitely an energy drink. However, of the mainstream energy drinks you can get, it's probably the best one. And that's not even great, but like the least harmful one, or like the least terrible one for you. Does that make sense?
Well,
yeah.
It's like a 1 out of 10 on the terrible scale. It's really not that bad for you. Like G Fuel does a pretty substantial. It seems like they work really hard to not put a ton of crap in there. Like the potassium based preservatives are pretty standard issue. That's not terrible. That's not too bad. Any preservatives are bad, but you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
They're trying to give you energy from like natural sources and not just like a cocktail of lab stuff. Like what was it, green coffee beans and a green tea extract.
Yeah.
So that's giving you a little bit of caffeine with a little bit of ginseng in there from the green tea. And I think green tea has taurine in it too. But the point being, they're trying to source it from like natural sources, which means your body's going to absorb and process it better, which means if you do a little too much and you get a little jittery, you're going to get through it quicker, and it's not lingering and like screwing up your system longer.
So what I read was the G Fuel can.
Yeah.
In the regular
tub.
Yep. So it says energy complex, taurine, L-citrulline maltate, caffeine 140 milligrams, glucositone, N-acetyl L-carnitine. Yeah, whatever the fuck. Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, so I guess what I'm trying to understand is, because if I drink a Monster, I completely feel like shit later or the next day. Like my stomach is destroyed.
Yeah.
Where like I drank a G Fuel, the powder, before we started this episode.
And you
feel fine. I completely feel fine. I'm not overly energetic.
Yeah.
I'm awake, but like when I go upstairs, I'll be able to go right to bed.
Yeah.
So
that's
for
good.
me. Yeah. So for me, I'm just like, okay, but what is it doing to my body? Like, so let's say I stream 3 days a week. 3 days a week, I am drinking a G Fuel.
Mm-hmm. So if you look at what's in which
I'm actually on G Fuel. Here, hold on.
I have an ingredient label for the hype sauce flavor in front of me.
That's what I was just reading.
So a pretty important two things I want to highlight, because I know we're going kind of long on the show. I don't want to belabor this too much, but you might be, after me sort of lambasting the 0-calorie options for things, this hype sauce is only 15 calories per serving, which might make you think, hey, are they using like artificial sweetener stuff? It's not too much. Like there's basically what it is they're just not adding any sugar to it, and they have a lot of like fruit powders that give you the flavor. They have a whole antioxidant complex that's pomegranate extract, pineapple extract, apple, orange, blueberry, grapefruit. Like it's like, I don't know, lines and lines and lines and lines. I don't want to read through the whole thing, but that's doing two things. That gives you some flavors without having to add a bunch of sugar, but B, a lot of fruits have antioxidants in them, and antioxidants can help mitigate the harmful effects of like weird chemicals in your body. So like part of the reason why people say chemicals are bad for you is certain parts of that molecule can like break down your cells, because it's an oxidant, which it's a chemistry thing. Long story short, some of these chemicals can break down your body's cells, and antioxidants are things that sort of cancel them out. Like just from the name, they cancel the oxidant. They're antioxidants. You get those from a lot of fruits and natural sort of berries and things like that. So what G Fuel is doing is they're using, obviously some of their energy stuff is not good for you. It's going to be oxidants, but they have a whole antioxidant complex that's sort of counteracting that, which is probably contributing to why you don't feel so terrible after having some of that versus a Monster, which is not trying to mitigate that at all and adding extra stuff to make it worse. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, last question. Is it safe to drink these?
G Fuel?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, generally, yeah, definitely. In moderation, it's safe to drink energy drinks too, but the key word being moderation. And if you don't have like underlying health issues that could get exacerbated by it, right? Like, for example, it's going to make your heart beat extra fast. So if you already have a heart problem, it's not a good idea to do something that's going to stress out your heart. You know what I mean? That's like if you have a broken arm and you try to do bicep curls with the broken arm. Like, what? It's just going to make it worse. You get what I'm saying?
I do.
So like if you are in particularly bad shape or something and have your heart's all clogged up with stuff because you have high cholesterol, then it's probably not a good idea to put more stress on your heart. If you're drinking energy drinks every day, that's substantially worse also than if you're having it once in a while. Now, if you're having G Fuel 3 times a week, I think that's not that big a deal as long as you're also pretty active. And I know you're a carpenter, Marcus, so you are wicked active and your cholesterol is perfect and your doctors always marveled at it. So I think the long story short is G Fuel 3 times a week is not that big a deal, so long as you don't have anything else crazy going on. But I'm going to use the canned line. If you ever have questions about it, just ask your doctor because they know you better than anybody else.
Kogass, what do you think? Energy drinks safe or not safe? Don't do it. Do it.
I mean, personally, I think stay away from monsters first and foremost. It's your body. You do whatever you want. I'm going to respect whatever your choices are. I'm not going to be there to preach you like, oh man, that's your third one this week. You do what you want to do. Personally, me, I would say 3 times a week. Yeah, go for it. Seems a little excessive to me. I think I had 1 Red Bull during the 24-hour stream.
Yeah.
Along with 2 sodas and like 4 things of water, like 4 27 milliliters of my thing of water. Mm-hmm. So, stay hydrated. Water's the best thing you can drink for yourself. Mm-hmm. I want to actually like backstep like 2 or 3 steps in the United States. They use artificial sugar in Coca-Cola. Mm-hmm. If you ever have a chance to get a Coca-Cola in a bottle, it's considered like the Mexican Coke. Most other countries, the glass bottle. Most other countries and Europe especially, they require Coke to have real sugar, which they get from cane sugar. They use cane sugar for that. And also, if you ever get a chance to have peanut butter from cane sugar instead of artificial sugar, life-changing, 100% life-changing. Yeah. If you are able to compare the two, your glass bottle with real sugar and your Coke can with the artificial sugar, you are going to taste a huge difference. And it is so much more delicious to have real sugar as opposed to the artificial crap we get in canned sodas. Mm-hmm. I will fight that fight to the bitter end because I miss Italy, living there and just being like, oh, I'm going to get a Coke and be like, oh, this Coke tastes delicious.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I was just going to say, to piggyback, having one of those real sugar Coca-Colas like just warms your soul. It's so versus like the US ones, it's like, okay, it's just soda. But it's a different experience because it's real sugar. That's what your body's designed to process and use. It's not like a chemical that it's got to figure out how to deal with in funky ways now.
You have not had real peanut butter unless you try it with cane sugar. The cane sugar.
I have not had that. I'll definitely too.
Well, my peanut butter that I eat, they're peanuts, and it gets fresh ground into a cup, and that's how I eat my peanut butter.
There you go.
So just to add to this, ever since I started streaming and playing video games at night, like I wake up at the ass crack of dawn.
Yeah.
With kids, and by the time like I work my ass off all day and then I come home, like I'm running on empty. But like I do enjoy the caffeine at night because it gives me that little bit of pep to be able to like muscle through those extra couple hours of the day that is me time, right?
Right.
And I guess where I'm at is like, okay, is it bad for me? Okay, so they're bad for you, but as long as you're in moderation, they're fine.
Yeah.
Like Monster, bad. Like that's Red Bull, bad.
Yeah,
You know,
any of like the big brands are essentially the same formula. They just flavor it differently.
Well, I saw in the store there's another one. I forget the name of it.
Bang?
And I read it. Huh?
Bang.
Yes, and it was like 300% sugar.
Yeah,
and I was
Bang is basically you get a ton of sugar, a ton of vitamins, and instead of the blend of energy stuff, they just give you a preposterous amount of caffeine. I think they're 300 or 400 milligrams per can.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So either way, it's good. Kogass, where can everybody find you?
They can find me over at Twitch, www.twitch.tv/KOGASS_.
And what nights?
Mondays and Wednesdays right now, 6 p.m. Central Time to about midnight.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of
Working Class Nerds.